everybody, and welcome back. I don't know why I hesitated. Welcome back to Tattoo Homewreckers. This is a podcast where we talk about tattoos, life, and everything in between. My name is Callista. This is
Gaia. I forgot that it was me.
Why are we hesitating? We're nervous. And then here we have our friend Brandon. Once again, thank you for coming back on the podcast. Why am I nervous? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi.
Thanks for coming back.
The wheels can't fall off if they aren't even on.
That's true. That is very true. Yes. Well, thank you for coming back to our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
If you guys haven't tuned into his already, you're fake. Just kidding. It's Life Nomadic Podcast. Go and tune into his. So
you started that off real aggressive.
You know what? I start panicking again when I'm nervous. I start panicking, and then I don't know what direction to turn. So it's either aggressive or it's just panic. So either one.
Okay. Do you want to start with our new intro question that we're going to
ask yes. Absolutely.
We have not prepped him for this. So
no. Great.
So if he takes a minute to answer, that's
why.
Here we go. So the new question that we are trying to ask on every episode now, this is the first episode we've done it, is what does your gender feel like today? And so if you want an example, I can start.
It's in a non-binary sense because we also know that gender is not a binary thing and that it's completely fluid.
It's everywhere.
So instead of saying I'm feeling masc or I'm feeling femme, you provide examples. And it could be like my gender feels like a butterfly in a forest. Or it could be, I tend to go with movies a lot.
Yes, she labels actors. So you could just straight up say like Terminator.
So we'll go first, and that way you have time to think.
Yes.
Do you want to start with what your gender feels like today?
I will start with yes. So the first time I got asked this question, I said that my gender felt like little sister, very femme, who got into her brother's clothes, started wearing like his like baggy t-shirts and like shorts and everything, and she was genuinely like pleasantly surprised at how good it felt and it fit. So she just kept wearing boy clothes. But my gender today feels like actually the older brother in this made-up scenario in my head who doesn't like to admit but loves it when his sister like does his nails and puts makeup on him and does a little makeover. And he's like super okay with like being totally just he's super secure in being a dude. But goddamn, he does love getting pampered every now and again. So that's what my gender feels like today.
Yeah.
What does your gender feel like today?
My gender, I think her name is Missy.
Oh.
But it is the brunette from Bring It On. Mm-hmm. I feel like her name is Missy.
What's her name?
I don't know.
I feel like the brunette from Bring It On, but also simultaneously, I feel like Paul Rudd's character from Clueless, and I think his name is Josh. So I feel like the big brother and the like boss ass bitch.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Those are like what I am internally feeling today.
You said earlier at breakfast today, like hard feminine but soft masculine.
Yes, because that's how I see them. It's like he is like super okay with not being like a toxic masculinity, and then she doesn't fall into that like extra feminine softness. Mm-hmm. So like that's what I'm feeling is like, hard feminine, soft masculine.
Love that.
Yep. Okay.
Wow, you are way better at articulating that than I'll ever be able to do. So
that's not true. You'll get there.
I don't ever really think about my gender.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a cis white male, so hasn't ever been something that's been part of my day-to-day thinking process.
Yeah.
However, the more that I am around people who are either gender fluid or trans or whatever the case may be, the more I feel I don't want to be any of the two, I guess.
Yep.
Meaning like I do feel more gender fluid, I guess, than I used to. Because, and I know that these are all kind of social constructs that have been placed on the genders, but sometimes I feel, especially if I'm working on the van, or if I'm doing something that's quote unquote more masculine based, that I do feel more like a man, I guess. Mm-hmm. But then when I'm speaking about my feelings or listening, which men aren't really usually good at doing, because I'm a very good listener, so I'll listen to people, and then I feel more, I guess, on the feminine spectrum. However, I do believe that none of those neither of those feelings should be assigned to either of those genders.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I typically 99% of the time feel I'm just in the middle somewhere.
Nice.
And I don't really, apart from other people's reactions to me, that's kind of the only time I ever am really aware of not only my gender, but of my race. I'm not aware of those because I've never had to have been. So it's just one of those things that being a white guy, I'm lucky. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But when instances do come up and someone reacts to me in a certain way, for example, if I'm walking down the street at night and there's a woman coming this direction and she crosses the street and walks on the other side of the street, I now realize that I'm a man and she's scared of this man walking down the street.
Yeah.
The stranger, yeah. So then I'm aware of my gender then, obviously when I go into bathrooms or anything like that. But outside of that, I'm never really aware of it. So today, I don't even know
That's okay.
what I would say. I would say that my gender feels like a bunny rabbit in a parakeet cage.
Yeah.
I love that.
So not threatened,
Yeah.
but also don't really feel like I belong
Like
in
kind
there.
of maybe a hint of concern, but also a lot of confusion.
Yeah, mostly confusion, but also like,
I mean-
if I needed to, I could kill that bird as a bunny rabbit, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite sure how I got here, but I feel safe, so I'll just hang out here until my environment changes.
I love that.
Well
That's
put.
a really good answer.
Yeah, you
all
said
right.
that.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. As soon as you said it, my heart just went up into my throat.
Oh, I'm sorry. We definitely should have prepped it.
Yeah, maybe you should have prepped me.
I didn't want
No
that. I wanted a
debriefing.
genuine reaction.
No, that was good.
No,
though.
that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was genuine.
I mean, if you think about it, I appreciate you being like, for those of you who aren't like looking at us, for, being honest and saying, yeah, I am a cis white man. There's a lot of deprogramming to do there, because I feel like once you're like, if you are a cis white man, you are born into a world that says you are this and this is how the world works around you and this is how you are supposed to work and blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of deprogramming to do, especially when people ask you questions like that. You're like, oh shit, I haven't like thought about it unless I've been put in a situation like you stated, where it's like, now it's obvious to me that I am a man, right? Like, so
But
that was a good.
yeah.
I think it's good though, because that means that like other people that are cis white men or cis white women, like anyone who has not had to question that then gets to hear to be like, oh wait, look, even though he didn't necessarily know at the beginning of this how to answer that, then you were able to like think about it and tap into it.
Yeah.
So I think it's good because it helps break that idea of there being like, we've gone through that where it would be like days where I'm like, well, I feel like a dude and then I feel like a girl, but then I don't ever feel fully like either one. And it's the same thing where mine's very based off of like what I'm doing. So I'm like, well, I feel like a dude today because I'm working on a car, but I'm like, but I'm allowed to be a chick that fucking loves cars. Like,
Totally.
Right.
and so I think that like for me hearing it like that question, it was like a non like
It puts
picking
it in
a gender. Yeah.
It puts it in more of an abstract term.
Yeah.
Which is the point of like this non-binary or like gender fluid like idea of it could be anything.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Yeah.
whole system's made up anyway, so we may as well flip it on its fucking head and be like, you feel like a bunny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
tomorrow I might feel like an eagle.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like a bunny.
That's such a good answer.
Perfect answer. Perfect
Aw,
answer.
thanks. Yeah,
That's
it's there's a I find myself in this interesting position where I do realize that I'm a cis white male, but I also understand where other cis white males who feel attacked are coming from.
Oh yeah.
And in most cases, I would like 90% of the cases, it's not their fault. This is what they've been told their whole life. And it's not even like, you don't get this book that says you're a white male, so you get to run the world. It's not actually told to you or taught to you. It's just how it is, and you just get used to it. And that's why so many people feel so attacked when something like that, and their answer is like, well, not all men or not all. But at the same time, I do feel like sometimes I need to stand up for those people and say, if you're just bashing on cis white people or cis people just in general, it's not my fault that I was correctly placed in the correct body, just like it wasn't their fault to not be correctly placed in the body.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes, you know, I do find myself on the fence, not on the fence, but kind of just like in between the two kind of arguments or the two cultures, where one's like screaming about one thing and the other one's being super offended and vice versa. And I'm kind of in the middle going like, wait a minute, guys, like both of you neither of you are at fault, honestly. And so that I talk about this with my friend Leaf a lot about the whole deprogramming, and I've been working on it for a really long time. And most times I'm pretty good at it, but I mean, it's 46 years of programming is not going to happen overnight.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Are you joking?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing, right? Is like you're fed all of these subliminal messages all throughout your life. And all of those messages are incredibly dependent on essentially like what body you were placed in at, you know, time of birth. And then you have to figure yourself out from then on, like, okay, am I placed in the right body? Do I feel secure in my body? Maybe I'm gender fluid. Maybe I'm trans. Maybe I'm whatever. And so, I don't know. A lot of these lessons can't be taught under the guise of like hate or frustration. And I get it. You know, it is frustrating. It's frustrating when you like try to talk to a man who like is so determined to not see the gender inequalities of like what's going on around him. You know what I mean? But I mean, obviously that place of frustration isn't going to move the dial any faster. Obviously we have every right to be frustrated, especially if someone's so close-minded. But the whole deprogramming thing, the secret ingredient is just keeping an open mind.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Sitting with that question. And you could have totally been like, I don't want to answer that. I don't really have an answer. No, instead you decided to like dig deeper. And that's part of deprogramming is being open to it.
Yeah. Especially deprogramming for men, because you were taught that the last thing you should do. And I think that once again goes back to serving the patriarchy, is that men are taught to not question. You're not taught to, like, a man that like stands against the patriarchy and is like, hey, this is oppressive to us, this is also oppressive to them, is then ridiculed in a lot of times. I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, is ridiculed more so than women that stand up against the patriarchy.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't get to have a voice about this, because then you are then battling both women and men. And women are going to battle women a little bit less than that if we're like, this is an injustice.
Right.
But then especially as a like cis white male, then you come in and people are going to be like, absolutely not. And like, I have the same thing where I'm like, okay, but I'm going to defend that because I happen to be married to one and I love him. And he is doing his part, like deprogramming. But then at the same time, I'm like, he can recognize his shortcomings, same as I can recognize that I participated in this for so long as well, and continue to in a lot of ways. And without being able to recognize that, then like, where the fuck is growth going to go? I can't just turn and be like, this is all your fault, and not be like, I don't know, I played the role too. I played the role of like housewife that did all this stuff, that like did all your laundry, that never expected anything. And then I got deprogrammed really quickly and then turned around and said, this is bullshit. And can't just be like, fuck you, dude. But I had to be like, hey, we also need to deprogram you, but you have to decide whether or not you want to get out the matrix.
Well, everyone needs to get... That's the thing, is like, no one is born woke, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely part of the problem as well, knowing that, like, growing up, I, like, always ridiculed my little brother for crying and telling him he's too sensitive. That's fucked up. Human beings are supposed to be emotional. Yeah. Regardless of your gender. Right. Right? So we all have a part to play. Ugh. Wow, that got
Well, I mean, and it's these conversations I think need to be had, and I do feel like that I'm fortunate enough to be in a unique position that I can have this conversation with kind of both sides, if there were two sides to this.
Right.
You know, and I totally understand how, you know, let's say, for example, there are some people who demand to be called by a certain gender. And as much as I agree that if you should be able to be called by what other gender you feel like, you shouldn't ridicule someone for either getting it wrong or not wanting to do that. Right. I don't think that's helpful. Instead, and this is the shitty part about all of this, is a lot of times the weight of change is put on the oppressed, which is super fucked up. But at the same time, if you're not doing your best to make it not easier, but more palatable for the other person, then you're doing yourself a disservice in a way. And so I find myself kind of in between those two things where, you know, I'm like, look, I know that you want to be called this way, and I respect that, but not everyone's going to be that way. And you have kind of two choices. You can be an asshole about it, or you can try and get them to understand where you're coming from. And if they still refuse, then you can wipe your hands with it. But I feel like, you know, and then there are people obviously who are just super stubborn, and they think it's dumb, and they're not going to do anything to change it. And you can't reach those people, and that's okay too, I guess.
You just call those men ma'am.
Yeah.
Real fast. That's my solution
yeah.
is when someone's like, I'm not recognizing this person's pronouns.
Yeah.
Then I will take whatever typically I've run into more like men in that position than I have women. But I have called a couple women sir specifically for that. And then they'll be like, excuse me. I'm like, oh, I just thought we got to pick whatever pronouns, because if you don't want to recognize theirs, I won't recognize yours.
Smart.
And if you call a dude ma'am a bunch of times, they get hella pissed. I'm like, that frustration you're currently feeling, that's how you're making this person feel by not recognizing how they are. And don't get me wrong, I too, you know, I am definitely fluid and non-binary and all of that. And I still struggle with they, them, because I'm just like, it gets a little bit confusing. I'm like, are we talking multiple people or not? But I also don't care on a personal level if you call me sir, ma'am. I mean, I definitely prefer sir. I just think it's better. But if you call me they, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that once again goes back to that that horribly patriarchal idea that I think that sir has more respect and like power than ma'am has. So it's like that idea
Where does it come
with myself.
from, right?
Yeah. That I'm like, sir is definitely a more of a sign of respect. That I'm like, even then I'm going, damn, Gaia, that's part of the like patriarchy of like men are inherently better. But, and I said that in quotations for anyone who's not fucking watching. I not actually believe that. But yeah, I think that that's the thing is that, you just fight fire with fire in that instance where, because then when they get upset, I'm like, how you feel right now, that's how that person feels. Now, do you want people to feel that way or not?
Absolutely. I've tried to explain it to a couple of friends, colleagues, whatever, about the whole gender thing. And I would just say, imagine if, okay, let's say your name is Chris. Imagine if everyone started calling you Jeff for no reason whatsoever. Wouldn't you hate that? Or would you just be like, oh, I guess I'll change my name to Jeff? No chance you're going to do that. So
it makes you feel like shit, right? It makes you feel unseen. It makes you feel like you don't matter.
Exactly.
Like, like your whole autonomy and like your identity is like taken away from you.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah,
I think naming our children is a funny thing anyway. I've thought that in a long time.
Really?
Yes.
I
hate it.
You see the movie Big Daddy?
Yes.
Where he lets him name himself? He's like, what do you want to be called? Frankenstein? So then that's your name now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a dope name.
I 100% agree with that because I don't resonate with my name. I've never liked Gaia. I think it's a stupid name. I don't give a fuck about it, but I understand that everyone else likes it, which also is that moment where I'm like, everyone's calling me by the wrong name and being like, but it's a great name. I'm like, okay, whatever. Just because I'm the first person you've met with that name, you think it's wonderful, but like, it's a dumb fucking name. Whereas like in my heart, I resonate with Lou and I'm like, that's it. Full name Luigi, abbreviated Lou. That's my actual fucking name.
Hilarious?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed at that.
No, but you can't because that's the thing.
No, it's Luigi.
Or Louis, or any other Lou prefix, Luigi.
Luigi.
That's incredible. I love it.
But like that's the name that resonates the most with me. And it's because of that right there that like it feels like the best icebreaker ever because every person laughs and you're meant to laugh. It's the opposite of what I get when I say, oh, Gaia, or when heaven forbid someone reads it and they struggle because it honestly, it's like one of two things happens. They see it, they pause, and they get embarrassed. Or it's some smug motherfucker that knows how to say it correctly. And my first interaction with them is never in like a nice, like, oh, Gaia. Okay, yeah. They're like, Gaia, yes, Mother Earth. Oh. And I'm like, fuck, dude.
Do people really do that?
Yes.
Are they French?
Holy fuck.
I'm sorry.
That was racist. Wow. Okay, stop the podcast. We're done.
You're canceled.
You're canceled.
You're canceled.
Your inbox, man. You're gonna have to change your Instagram to Luigi.
to
Yeah.
Luigi.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
What would you? Okay, then that's a question I have to ask you. If you were to pick your name, what would your name be?
No.
No.
No,
What?
I have
That's
no
your
idea.
name?
I have no idea.
Your name is No.
Yeah, no.
Hey, No.
No. Hey, no. You? Hey, you?
Hey, you.
I don't know. I've never thought about it. It's funny because I always think about all the things outside of me, and I never turn those back
Oh, dig into that.
in terms of like
Let's
the
get
gender
into
stuff
that.
and the name stuff, you know? Because
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'm always trying to fix the world and
Are you trying to fix the world because you're not trying to fix yourself?
Yeah, are you
'Cause you
trying
don't
to
feel like
Well, no, that's not true.
serpentining?
No. I don't think I'm broken. I don't think anyone's broken. But it's weird because I don't ever think about, because it's just my name. So, and I've again, with like the whole race and gender thing, I've never really thought about it. But I think about other people and how they feel being misgendered or being treated differently because of their race or having the wrong name. Does that make sense? I think
Yeah.
it's just because I'm just lucky and got all the things that I resonate with, or I've just learned to live with it, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Which also, I mean, not to bring it back to like, you know, being a cis white male, I think you
Totally.
also,
Yeah.
that's like the number one thing of the patriarchy for you guys is like you just learn to live with it because like that same narrative that's like, hey, women and people of color are oppressed. The oppression that happens with like cis white men is that you are not allowed to question the status quo because you in this bullshit world we live in are the highest like top level. So if you fucking complain about something like you don't identify with your name, then like, oh my fucking God, you've been given everything else. You're not allowed to. So that seems to be like a thing across like men is like that part of awakening the portion of themselves that's allowed to like ask for things.
Right.
Because I think that's that part of like oppression that you guys definitely get is like you're not allowed to be like, oh, well, you know what? This doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is a hard part.
I actually was going to bring up, speaking of patriarchies and all those types of things, the marriage thing where you take another person's last name
Weird.
even seems weird to me. But here's the kicker. If I was to get married to someone, which I don't believe in marriage. I think it's fucking stupid. I don't think that the government needs to know who I love. Like, I just think it's dumb, but whatever. If I was to not make my significant other take my last name and maybe I was to take theirs, every single dude would be like, oh God, this fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like, look how woke I am. I took my wife's name. Look how progressive I am. And it's like, well, what if I wanted to do it for a specific reason? What if her insurance was better than mine? What if, you know what I mean? Like, what if her last name's just cooler?
Yes.
Yeah,
Her
exactly.
last name's like so fucking cool,
Yeah.
right? Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck are you
If
gonna
I
do?
met a girl and her last name was Frankenstein, I would marry her and I would take her last name.
Absolutely.
Brandon Frankenstein?
Great
That sounds incredible.
name. Brandon
Yeah.
Frankenstein
What a
sounds great.
name.
Yeah.
I also hate saying my name. Do you hate saying your name?
Oh yeah, but I
Do you
don't
hate
hate
saying
saying
your
Lou.
name?
No.
That's how you know you were born with the wrong name.
I know, but I don't know what to do about it.
That you just try stuff
Maybe
out.
I'll just change it.
Choose. Yeah.
You just test stuff out.
Let's try one.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys have to help me. I can't do this on my own.
All right, wait. We gotta give a second to think about it. So
Okay.
therefore, what name would you have if you weren't Callista? If you could pick your own name.
I've actually always resonated with Callista. Maybe as a little girl, it was harder for me because it was hard to introduce myself as Callista because everyone would always be like, and I'm like, Callie, you know? And so Callie's good too. But I love Cal, mostly because it sounds really close to cow. And I just kind of laugh thinking about
You
someone
are
approaching me being
Cow.
like, what's up, cow?
Wait, I'm allowed to just call you a cow?
You can totally call me a
Yes.
cow. whenever you
No,
want.
not a cow.
No, it isn't.
Cow.
You can
That's
call me
the-
a cow too.
Oh,
That's fine
all right.
too. You
Did you know
cow.
that's like an English insult?
I love
Yeah.
cows.
The fat cow over there?
The
Yeah.
fat cow. I think
Yeah.
it's like calling someone a cow. I know that sounds so mean, but it just sounds so funny, and I really resonated with that because I just love cows.
Right.
I do
Well,
too, actually.
Right?
They're hilarious.
They were so sweet and
What-
funny, and God, fuck, how funny would it be to just approach me and say, "What up, cow?" and like have someone be like, "What the fuck did he just call
Oh,
you?"
because I need more people to fucking hate the way that I interact with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Your clients get so possessive.
They do.
And they
yeah.
hate me because I'll walk up and insult her. And that's how we say
Sup,
hi.
fucker?
Yeah, you texted me the other day and you called me a hooker or something like that.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
The more derogatory it gets, the more I love you.
Good to know. All right, good to know.
That's probably something
we should talk into that.
Okay, so you would keep your name.
Well, I
or
mean,
Cal.
I love
or Cal.
Cal is great. You can call me whatever.
I
Brandon
love Cal.
Collins.
What?
Collins would be your last name. Can we change the whole thing?
Yeah. You get to pick your own name. Okay, here's the thing.
Collins.
You become a full-grown person, and then you get to pick your own name.
Like first and last.
Yes, the whole damn thing. Because I wouldn't keep my middle name
I wouldn't
either.
do two names.
You wouldn't do two names.
I would do
or just
one name.
Yeah,
Okay,
I would
that's
just
cool.
be Luigi.
It would be one name, but I think that the name would have separate meanings.
Oh.
Like what's that? What kind of a word is that? Like run. Run has 100 different definitions. It would be a name like that could kind of go anywhere and do anything and be anyone.
Anything.
Yes, I'd
be like
this.
a rabbit in a parakeet cage.
Exactly.
With my name.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
I'll think about it. So you would not go the traditional like name route. It wouldn't be like Nick or like
No.
Correct.
No.
Craig.
No. Although there is a there's this generator. I can't remember what it's called when you mix all the letters up.
Yeah.
Ambigram. When you mix all the letters up. So my
like
name, if you mix all the letters up, spells $10 clown brains.
That's amazing.
So Brandon Walter Collins, if you mix all those letters up, you
Yeah.
can spell $10 clown brains.
That's hilarious.
So maybe my name could be $10 clown brains.
Your middle name is Walter?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why is that? Wow.
Wow, that was so insulting.
Yeah, that was
Thank
very
Jesus.
condescending.
Well, I'm so sorry. Because Walter is such a funny name.
Is it?
Walter?
Wow. Guess I'm changing that one first.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Maybe I'll change it to Walter. Maybe I'll just go by Walter.
Okay, Walter.
You can call me Walt.
Yeah.
It's my grandfather's name.
I like
Oh,
Walt.
is it?
Yeah. Does that
Walt's
make you
a
feel
good
any
name.
worse about how you're acting to me right now?
Yeah, it does.
Who's no longer with us? So now you're laughing at a dead person?
I'll laugh at a
most
dead person
people are
every day.
That's true.
Yeah.
There are more people dead than there are alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, here's a
over it.
fact.
Oh.
We do not know exactly how many people are on Earth at any given time.
Ew.
Why would we? That's a weird thing to know.
I know.
I think that a lot of stuff that we decide are facts are actually just made up shit that everyone agrees to.
And I looked into it, and they're saying there's between 2 and 300 million uncounted for people. So, like, the entire population of the United States is uncounted for globally.
Ew.
Crazy.
Wait,
I
why
don't
is
like
that ooh
that.
for you?
I just don't like not knowing.
There's so
You'll
much
never
stuff
know.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the
There's constant-
8.4 billion people or whatever there are on Earth.
Yeah.
There's between 2 and 300 million more people that are uncounted for.
I guess when I think about it more and more, it's really not my problem, but it's still like weird to think
Not
about.
my problem.
Well, it's not. It's none of our problems,
none
but
of our
it
problems.
is something interesting to be like. That seems like such a simple thing that we would just know how many people there are, but we don't. And we're not even close.
There's lots of places that don't have the technology we have to give like.
But I mean,
birth to kids all the time.
as a first world person, we typically don't think about anything outside of our own country. So a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, there is hundreds of millions of people who live in the middle of nowhere that aren't part of a census thing," you know? So
wait, I guess that's not weird to me because my my mom's mom wasn't documented
Okay.
because like she was born, turn of century in Mexico, so like she wasn't documented. And then when she married my grandfather, it was like some whole thing of like having to like prove like her age and like all that jazz because she didn't have birth certificate.
Yeah,
because like they just didn't do that.
Yeah.
First off, they barely did that in the U.S. And then on top of that, they definitely weren't doing that like where she was at. Because she was a Tomi Indian.
Yeah.
So like they're not like, hey, let's write this shit down.
Yeah,
They're
totally.
Like, nah, dude, we don't give a shit.
Well, and, like,
you live, you die, you become the earth.
billion is such a big number that
I
we
can't
actually
compute
can't.
it.
None of us can.
No.
It's not even possible for a human to contemplate how big a billion is. So there's 8 versions of that. So 300 million people sounds like so many people, but that's less than 1% of all of the people on Earth.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's There's too many people.
I think we know.
See,
too
this is
much.
Walt right now talking.
Yeah, this is Walt.
Hey, Walt.
Walt's awfully macabre. He thinks there's too many people.
I agree. There's too many people.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've always had a population problem, right? Well,
Yeah, that's why we don't have kids.
Yeah.
I got what? Besides you, I didn't give birth to you though, so I didn't add to the population.
yeah, that's true.
Although I am the only married person at this table, but I will stand
Yeah,
with you.
idiot.
Yeah.
Dude, some people need insurance.
Shots fired by cow over there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I also agree that I think marriage is stupid.
It is stupid, but it's also something that's necessary in a way if you need to get on someone's insurance or your taxes, like all those kinds of things.
Citizenship.
Yeah, or you need citizenship. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it should be used for what it is, and that is a tool.
That's what it
And
is,
that's
really. Yeah.
I mean, now it's a tool. I mean, the whole concept of marriage is just based off of like religion, right? Like it's like, oh, we're just gonna give these people fucking benefits for following this stupid organized religion.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
women are property, so that's why
The
we take
name
their
changing
name.
thing does freak me
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
It freaks me out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Well, and it's so my mom does a lot of like what is it called? Genealogy. When you like and there's a lot of times when she struggles finding her ancestors because when they get married, they transfer the name over and then that's the end of the road for that last name. So then you have to track that name bouncing around and changing and
Yeah, but that's the whole point. The whole point was so that way women's history was lost, because if you removed her history, then she could not like gain any sort of power.
Yeah.
So by only continuing the male lineage, that showed that was the only one that was important, and then that's what the power retained.
Yeah. And whether that was on purpose or it's just a feature of the thing that happens, it's definitely
Well, it's definitely
true.
on purpose. It's like that whole, I was reading an article talking about how the like idea of like hunter-gatherer societies, and it was talking about how we now think of like men as being the hunters, women being gatherers, and that all the science, even when those like articles were coming out and that stuff was being published, all those the science behind them was all fake. And then it was just men at the time being like, fuck, we found all these like burial sites that show women as hunters.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't make us look like we're in power. So we're going to discredit this and say that all these things. And now scientists are going back being like, y'all, this is all lies. Like everything you've learned about women being like less powerful, like being the natural caregiver, all of this, like when we look through history, this is not the truth at all. It's just the truth that we've been told, because that's what benefits. It's like, the whole whitewashing of history, but it's just the male washing of history where it's like, this makes us seem like we're in power. And it's the same thing with the names, is that it was directly done to keep individuals that were in power in power.
Right.
Like that's the whole reason why, which is why you had like kings and their sons.
It's so wild.
It is. Well, I mean, hence why now, like, people really aren't getting married unless, again, it's for benefits or whatever. We've gotten to a point where humanity is now like, okay, this is stupid.
Yeah.
More and more people are starting to realize, like, why would I do that?
Yeah, and it's so antiquated on top of all of it.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it.
No, it's a societal thing. It's the same thing that, like, when I get to say, yeah, my husband, people instantly take my relationship to Caboose, like, seriously.
Yeah.
But then when I'm like, oh, my partner over here, like, she is the person that I'm choosing to do life with. Like, we will have a business together one day. Like, we move together. And they're like, you're moving with your friend? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, this is nuts. Just because I don't sleep with her at night because we don't have a legally binding piece of paper.
Yeah, it's the piece of paper.
I'm like, that paper matters to you so much, but that's like the thing, is it's just a social status.
Yeah.
Like, we got married and everyone was like, oh shit, this shit is serious. And I'm like, is it though? Because like, we were serious before this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, and we live in Nevada. If we were to get divorced, it'd be so fucking easy.
Yeah.
Like,
is it easy?
Oh, easier here than most states. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why this is still
The
considered
divorce capital or whatever?
The divorce capital, Sin City. Vegas was like a whole thing.
I feel like it should be harder to get. If I was to believe in marriage, I think it's weird, but also makes sense that it's harder to get divorced than it is to get married. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't it be
100%.
harder to get married?
Well, that's why people are weird about prenups. I mean, the last ex I had, I was just like, if we ever like consider marriage, then I would want to do a prenup, and he made a big fucking deal about it. Yeah, he was just like, no, absolutely not. That's setting us up for failure, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm just protecting you, idiot. Like,
So having a roof over your head is setting yourself up for failure.
I guess
for
so.
rain?
Yeah, I guess so.
You're asking
right?
for rain if you put a roof over your head.
Apparently.
Caboose and I tried to get a prenup, and they told us that you had to have money first. We were like, we want to get a prenup, and they're like, there's nothing to
like,
do.
Why? For what?
You're both broke as fuck. You've both got nothing. Like, you've got nickels to run together.
God.
That's it. No.
Well, at least the student actually had money.
Yeah.
And had a career. So that's why I was like, listen,
No.
I'm just trying to protect you. Also, it to me seems like a very logical thing. If you're gonna get married, having a prenup is pretty fucking smart. But people are weird about it. Oh my God, are you planning on breaking up with? No. What?
It's just making sure if we do break up, it goes easy.
Well, here's my thing. Do you think every divorced couple went into their marriage thinking that they would get divorced? No.
No, of course
so
not.
Stupid.
Why would you?
Why would you?
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
I love that we're not even addressing the podcast audience. We're just having a conversation.
We're just chatting. We're having a good time.
I love it.
We're just slowly alienating.
You guys are on a
Yeah.
ride.
Yeah.
So.
We're like, hey, marriage is dumb.
Yeah,
Ooh,
exactly.
I brought you guys a present.
Oh my
what?
God. You've been sitting on this since the day.
Yeah, for the last 30 minutes.
What is this?
So, a couple of episodes that you guys have done about the friendship questionnaire, I've failed a couple of them,
Oh.
miserably.
You have, yes.
Because I do have, I thought of an acronym for it today.
The acronym for
MDD, milk drinking disorder.
Oh, I don't. Wait, okay, just run me through real quick before we get to this present. Why do you drink milk?
what is the...
Walk me through it. I'm an alien and I do not understand why you would take a liquid from another animal.
Well, first of all, it comes from a container.
Okay.
It doesn't come from an animal.
What?
In my mind,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
like in
that makes
most
sense.
people's
Okay.
minds, when you go, when you go to the store and you buy a package of meat,
Oh, you
it's
don't
not a
think it-
cow
yeah.
you're buying. You're buying a piece of food that's in a package.
Oh no, I'm too literal. So I
So-
always thought of the animal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You cognitive
Okay.
dissonance
Yep.
has to happen
Right.
for you in
Okay.
order to eat those kinds of
Perfect.
things.
Right.
I grew up drinking milk, and I was only allowed to drink 2% milk, and I thought 2% milk was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to church camp or something ridiculous, and they only had whole milk. And I was afraid, because I never had it before, that I was going to hate it. And I drank it, and it was like fucking crack. I loved it so much. So then when I moved out of my parents' house and was out on my own, I bought whole milk specifically as a middle finger to my parents, so that I could look at me drinking all the fat, because
all of it.
in the 80s and 90s,
Yep.
fat people thought that fat made you fat.
Yep.
When you don't realize that there's more sugar in 2% than there is in whole milk, which actually does make you fat.
Right.
So I switched over to whole milk, and I just love I love the fat. I love the texture of milk. Yeah.
Wait,
Your MDD
you're making
is so much worse than I thought. I did not realize that you also only do whole milk.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
That is so much worse than I thought.
I'm gonna
drink-
come to his defense real fast.
Okay.
I feel like you over here making gaggy faces is kind of bullshit.
The texture
Because
of milk?
You love the texture of so many things that people would consider
fuck yeah, I
gross.
do, yeah.
Exactly. So you are a mouthfeel.
Raw eggs.
Exactly.
Oh,
This
yeah, raw
bitch
eggs all
coming
day.
for him.
Yummy, right?
When she's over here eating raw eggs, and most people will not touch a raw egg.
Cow can't come for me. You're not fast enough. I will run away so
I don't know,
fast.
they're kind of fast
I'm
when
loving
they
them.
want to be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
what kind of cow
I'm a
would
bunny
you be?
rabbit, so I go way faster.
Oh, that's true.
That's fair. But my hooves, I would crush you in 2 seconds.
Whoa,
If you could.
violence.
I'm not saying I would do it on purpose.
What?
Would
just
you be a
sometimes-
long-haired cow? Like the
Scottish Highlands
Yeah.
one?
Highland-
I don't know
Yes.
why that's what I picture.
Mhm.
Highland cow.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I just kind of pictured myself as your standard dairy milk cow, which is really weird now that I'm considering the fact that I'm yeah, maybe.
No,
Milk?
not dairy milk
No.
cows. Those cows don't get treated very well.
Well, have you seen me?
I guess that makes sense. So I drink whole milk, but I drink the cream top whole milk. So it actually, the cream rises to the top. And so I have to take a butter knife and push
No,
the
you
cream
fucking
down.
don't. No, you don't.
And get it
That's
to
a
mix
thing?
up. Yeah.
No.
But it comes in a glass bottle.
Okay.
The bottles are recyclable, so I exchange
Okay, I
the
like
bottles.
that. I like that.
It's from a very small dairy, so I'm assuming probably blindly that the cows are treated a little bit better than your typical model dairy type cow. Fun fact, when I was in England for like a month earlier this year, I left my milk jug in my brother's refrigerator thinking that he would just like drink it, and he didn't. And after a month, I get a text from him. He's like, hey, I just checked. You left your milk in the refrigerator. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, it's fine. Because the cream rose to the top and sealed the top to let no bacteria or air in.
What?
And so the milk was fine. He's like, yeah, I've been drinking it. And his wife is not really a big fan of things that have expired. So it really freaked her out. But like, I use my nose. If it smells fine, I'll drink it or eat it. It doesn't even if it has things growing on it, I'll just wash it off as long as it smells good.
I like the whole patented. You just cut the mold off.
Yeah, cut the mold off. Yeah.
Totally.
Even if like sausages or they get a little bit slimy, you just wash the slime off.
Just wash it.
Smell it. If it smells fine, then eat it.
The smell thing for me is hard because I constantly gaslight my own like any kind of like smell. I gaslight myself with, oh, it's not that bad, or any like feeling like tactile stuff. I will gaslight the shit out of myself. So smell is hard for me, but I'm more of a visual person.
I'm definitely on the visual side. I can't smell either.
Yeah, because then I'll question. I'll be like, did I smell anything real?
Yeah.
Was that real, or am I not just smelling? Like, it's just like
I mean, I do have issues with my olfactory glands. Sometimes I can't smell anything. Like I'll be cooking bacon and like.
Do you get smell blind quick?
Yeah, I won't smell it.
Yeah.
And like someone will come into the kitchen and be like, oh my God, that smells so good. I'm like, oh wait, I don't even smell this bacon. So sometimes I don't trust my smell. So I'll ask my brother, I'm like, does this smell bad to you? And he's always like, I don't know if I want to go in and smell that.
Fucking two stoners being like, do I smell like weed? No, do I? No, two people who smell like weed saying.
Do I look high?
No, straight up. Wow, iconic. Anyways, so because of your...
So because of that, and I listen to your podcast a lot of times while I'm doing acupuncture. Because your podcasts are around 30 to 35 minutes long. That's how long my acupuncture session is. So it's perfect timing. And I go along with you and do the friendship test. And I'm like, nope. How am I friends with them? On the really important stuff, like social issues and stuff, we obviously see eye to eye. But like food stuff, we don't really see eye to eye.
No, we don't at all.
We don't eat together. Maybe that's how we're friends.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. So
we've yet to break bread.
Now we can't break bread.
I mean, we can. We would just have to like. I can't cook for you because everything that I enjoy cooking has onions in it. Yeah. I mean, I would set something aside for you for sure. Yes, that's because sweet. I'm a nice person. But
and he can't cook for you because everything that he makes has I would just. In it.
That's not true.
He drizzles everything. Like he's made you like a vegetarian burger and he just pours.
If you made me anything, I would just bring my own onion and I would go into a separate room and cut it up. And then like
you would have to.
Bitches just bringing onions to people's houses.
I mean, would you put it past me?
No.
That's what I thought.
So anyways, I went to Barnes and Noble to get a book or to look for a book, and I just happened to walk by like the puzzle book section, and I saw this book sticking out. It says Coke or Pepsi, amazingly awesome questions to ask your friends. And I was like, immediately, yep, buying this.
Thank you so much.
And so I'm going to give it to you guys so that you can use this to grill your other guests or each other or me.
This is incredibly sweet. I really appreciate it. I cannot wait. We will crack into this. I mean,
on our very next episode. But right now, one last really important thing. We were driving around earlier and we saw a Wendy's in a parking lot and an Arby's in a parking lot. And I was trying to figure out who Arby's rival would be. Because obviously, like, McDonald's and Burger King are rivals.
It's easy.
You've got Krispy Kreme and Dunkin' Donuts. What is it?
Carl's Jr.
Really?
For Arby's?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking East Coast-wise, that's Hardee's and Arby's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought maybe Carl's Jr. would be rivals with Jack in the Box for some reason.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I didn't picture because like Arby's is roast beef sandwiches.
I thought Arby's would have been rivals. I said Applebe's.
Yeah, this bitch said, I was like, Applebee's is a sit-down restaurant.
I've never been inside of an Applebee's.
Oh, then how?
Because she's never been to an Arby's either. Yeah, this is her logic. She's never been to either one of those, so obviously they're rivals.
Right. So, I mean, in her defense, I've never been to Jupiter. or Saturn.
Okay.
But I do know that they're very different planets.
Right. Yes, that's true.
But they're also gas giants, so they are similar.
They're similar but different.
So yeah, I guess you don't
So they're
have...
technically restaurants, but one of them's Arby's is not, Applebee's is not considered fast food.
No,
would
not at all.
Applebee's be rivals with Chili's then?
Yeah, of
Yes.
course. Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
So we
I think maybe... No, I think Arby's might be in a league of their own.
Yeah.
There's no other roast beef places.
Thank you.
Oh, Quiznos?
No.
because they would be against Subway.
Subway.
Oh, you're right, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Well, no, Subway porta subs.
Oh yeah, but
Porta Subs
a
is only
West
out
Coast,
here,
right?
yeah. And
Oh,
that's
is
the
it?
thing is, yeah. So like,
Oh.
same as like on the East Coast, it is Chipotle versus Moe's.
Yeah.
Moe's wins every time. Come for me, anyone in the South or on the East Coast that thinks it's Chipotle, you're fucking idiots.
Moe's is great.
Nothing can beat Julia Gulia.
Okay.
Very strong opinions.
Wait, your name's going to be Julia Gulia?
No, that is what a Julia Gulia is.
Isn't that from
Yeah.
Wedding Singer?
Yes. Exactly. But it's their vegetarian like stack.
Okay.
So I guess it's the Crunch Wrap for Taco Bell. But
Okay.
Moe's took it and made it in like way bigger, and they have like proper like queso. Like it's delicious and amazing. When I moved out here and discovered there were no Moe's, I was devastated.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think Carl's Jr. and what's the other one? Jack in the Box. I think they are the rivals.
yeah.
I think
okay.
Arby's stands alone.
Arby's is
Nobody
alone.
else does
Well, then
roast beef
who's
sandwiches.
the rival? I thought Jack in the Box would be a rival to what's that stupid thing out here everyone makes a big deal of?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out?
There you go. I was gonna say the religious one.
In-N-Out is definitely on its own league.
I think they're kind of on their own. Yeah.
Same thing with Porta Subs, because that's only a West Coast thing. Because Porta Subs is delicious. I love Porta Subs.
But I can kind of see Porta Subs is similar to
So we're doing East Coast, West Coast rivalries or just
No.
rivalries
No,
in
we're
general?
just doing rivalries in general, which I think
But I
that
think
like
you were right. Arby's has to be alone.
Yeah, there's no other roast beef
sa-
place.
That's disgusting.
you man, if you still ate meat, their roast beef sandwiches are lit.
Philadelphia
Are you
cheesesteak?
serious?
It's good, dude. You can put nacho cheese on a roast beef
I
sandwich.
think even when I did
Yeah.
meat,
Delicious.
I was highly uninterested unless it was steak. Like I was highly
you
like
bougie bitch.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm a
This is when
Pomeranian.
her privilege comes in, you guys.
I'm a little
I
Pomeranian.
thought you were a cow.
I mean, here's the thing. If
That's
I
a
were-
giant Pomeranian.
I'm a giant
or a tiny cow, one of the two.
Oh,
Oh, a cow the size of a Pomeranian?
Exactly.
That's
me.
you.
Wait, what kind of dog would you be?
No, I would be a Queensland healer
Whoa, that was so specific.
Yes.
because they're sporty,
Yeah.
they're rugged,
Mhm.
they're really sweet and faithful, they're super smart.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm a Pomeranian because I'm high maintenance.
I'm not gonna argue with that.
How dare you? You were not supposed to agree with me.
I mean, you're not high maintenance. How dare you?
See, again,
No matter what.
It's a steak
I would've
thing,
been
right?
wrong.
I was uninterested in any warm, like, meat sandwich. Don't get that shit away from me. I don't want it. None of that is anything that I want to be a part of.
What if I was to tell you that roast beef was a type of a steak?
Here's the thing. It's not as good as, like, an actual steak. When I'm talking about steak, I'm talking about, like medium rare with, like, asparagus. Like, The Matrix. That's the kind of steak I'm talking about.
What if you
Like,
took a steak and ran it through a meat slicer into sandwich
No.
slices and put it on the
I'm
sandwich?
not interested. I want it plated nice. and I want it, like-
so you just
It's
don't
an
like.
experience, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, because she's fucking bougie.
That's right.
Because she's a Pomeranian.
I get it. Yeah.
She's a pit bull for sure.
What? Why am
I
I
don't know
a
if
pit
you're a
bull?
pit bull.
I think she's a pit bull.
Pit bulls are good with kids. I'm not a pit bull.
Pit bulls are they're very, very sweet, nurturing, but they get a bad rep for being fighters.
Yeah.
But you can fuck a
Do
bitch up
not
if you
tell
want.
people that I am sweet or nurturing.
You're very nurturing.
I think I agree with you on the pit bull
I
thing.
saying.
fuck you both.
Because you look like pit bulls look terrifying, but they're sweet.
They're very
You
sweet.
look terrifying, but you're
I
sweet.
am terrifying, and that is the wrap of like, that's it. That's where we're at. It ends
We're
at, I am
ending this
terrifying.
episode.
I am not sweet. Do not let them ruin my reputation.
Yes.
I, like a pit bull,
And-
need that reputation.
For any of you who are listening, please let us know what Arby's rivals are, if they even exist, and if you like Arby's, and if you do, I mean,
It's good.
No, I feel like it would be bad. All
Don't
of
be
it
judging
sounds bad.
people.
I'm not.
Anything
judging.
fast food is disgusting and shouldn't be eaten by humans.
I
Fuck
don't think
you.
I agree with
A
that.
Wendy's
Are
Frosty.
you coming for me?
A Wendy's
coming for
Frosty. Dude,
Jack in
Okay.
the Box curly fries.
Okay, there are small exceptions, and
Okay.
I'll give you
Yes.
Wendy's,
only a chocolate Frosty.
McDonald's
no
French fries, best French fries on the
Yes.
planet.
Yes.
You guys
Yes.
are so obsessed with your
My,
McDonald's.
the only
fries.
thing, if I
You
could
need to
take
go out of
McDonald's
this
French
country and
fries,
eat McDonald's.
yeah, true. Go to Macca's.
Macca's.
Mm-hmm. Did you know in Australia that's not Burger King, it's Hungry Jack?
That's a way better name.
Hungry.
And it's literally the same font between two buns, and it's called Hungry Jack's.
It's a way. Well, that's like Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
Yeah,
When
the
we came
same
out
thing.
here, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with the Hardee's logo? I was like, who the fuck is Carl? It's Hardee's. Like, what the fuck?
That is true. Where did they come up with these different names?
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine it's a legal thing. I know that's how it was in Australia. So, like, same thing with cars in Australia. They have Ford, but they don't have Chevrolet. They have... No, I can't remember the name of it.
Oh,
lost it.
scandalous.
No. Oh, my gosh.
They have Chevrolet, but with an S.
No,
Chevrolet.
it's...
Chevrolet.
No, it's another company, and it's legit Chevrolet. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But because Ford was in Australia first, they made the government or something sign a thing saying they would never let Chevrolet in. So then Chevrolet just rebranded their name and started
said,
making
"Fuck you,
Chevys.
Ford."
Yeah.
Good for
Yes,
Chevrolet.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And they still make El Caminos in Australia, which is amazing.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah.
Don't tell Caboose that. We'll have to get one. That's his dream car.
Doesn't he edit these? Well, he doesn't listen though, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Ooh.
Luckily. He didn't
I'm
hear
still
that
waiting
part.
for like a day where he messages like all of us and is like, "You fucking bitches." I don't listen on the podcast. I've listened. Here we go. I'm waiting for that text.
Holden.
What?
Holden.
Holden.
Oh,
Good
I didn't
for
know
you.
that's what that brand was.
Yeah, Holden is
Yeah.
basically Chevrolet. And so I'm assuming the same thing happened with McDonald's. McDonald's in Australia first, and so they're like, "You're not allowed to have Burger King because that's their immediate rivalry." So then Burger King was like, "Well, what about Hungry Jack's?" And it's the same logo.
Better name.
It really is.
I would
yeah.
eat at Hungry Jack's.
Yeah.
I don't. You know you love Burger King. I think it's gross.
Yeah, I don't do fast food.
They have the like Impossible Whopper, and it's huge. And I order it to the shop sometimes, and the dirty looks I get is so funny. I get made fun of so hard for it, and
smells so
I don't
bad.
care. All right, I'm gonna eat what I want to eat. I don't care.
No, yeah, I don't judge. It's just not for me. I think maybe because I ate it so much as a kid. I just don't really
Oh,
like
lucky.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So on that, to wrap up this episode, because we are a little bit longer.
Sorry,
No.
I talk a lot.
People want to be here. They want to
It's a good
listen.
thing. Plus, we still have a whole after hours to do
Yeah.
on
Oh,
this
okay.
episode. So
So our next episode will be Coke versus Pepsi.
yeah.
But what is your win for the week?
My win for the week. It's been a tough week already.
Oh.
So I've survived, so that's a good win.
That is a good win.
I have on 2 or 3 separate occasions this week told someone who didn't know prior that I was queer.
Oh, I'm
fuck
so excited
yes.
for that.
Yeah.
That's a really good
The first one just
win.
came straight out and I didn't even think about it. And I was
Nice.
like, who said that? And then the second one, I said no at first and then was like, no, you know what? No, yes, I am. So,
Yes.
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I'm really
that's
proud
a
of you.
good
That's
win.
a wonderful win.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an amazing win.
Yeah.
My win-
And now all your listeners know.
Callie,
Now
that's
we all
okay.
know. That's
We're
true.
a safe environment for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Do your podcast listeners know?
No.
Oh my god.
Not yet. They will now. Okay.
Yeah.
Cow.
Brandon exposed. Anyway, sorry. My win for this week hasn't happened this week yet, but I will go ahead and future cast. My win for this week is going back to work. I took a week off because of a mental health thing. It's not been easy, but I'm going back tomorrow, so that we'll see how it goes. That's my win for the week. Hasn't
Beautiful.
happened yet, but
Can I argue that your week off is your win?
Yes.
yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
That's
good
a
win.
That's
good
why I'm
win.
here.
Aw,
Yep.
I didn't even think of it like that. I always like my brain likes to turn it into a defeat thing. Like
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
bummer.
Like, you should never punish yourself for taking time off. You should
No,
be
that's
rewarded
true.
for it.
Thank you. I
got you.
appreciate it.
100%.
Thank you.
What's your win?
My win for the week is that Caboose took me on a date. Yep. And
Like an
then-
actual date?
Yeah, we went to the
Date.
Don't Tell comedy. So they find different venues around town. You don't find out where you're going until the day of, so you buy tickets, and then they send you an email day of, and like they do it in like planetarium, they do it in
Really?
museums, and this one happened to be in a tattoo shop.
No.
So it was like watching a donkey show because I watched someone do a tattoo. They didn't set up with gloves. It was the funniest shit because like he has been struggling with like taking me on a date, so he hasn't actually taken me like taken me on a date in about 15 years.
Uh-huh.
And couples therapy has been working really well. So he like had the courage. We like unlocked his like past trauma with that. And he took me on a date. And now it's the funniest shit ever because he took me to a tattoo artist version of a donkey show. That we were both just there like, oh,
You'll have to tell me what tattoo shop it was later.
yeah, I won't do it on the podcast, but it was great. So yeah, my win is that I got taken on a date by my husband.
That's so
iconic.
cool.
So
Good wins.
even though marriage is stupid.
Good job, you
And
guys.
on that note, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks if you're still here with us. We love you, and we will see you back next week. And then also, don't forget, Arby's rival. We need to know it.
Yeah, please let us know.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.